There is a town in Canada where homeowners cannot get flood insurance at any price. The sea has claimed 6 meters of coastline in the past decade. The local government has mapped which streets will be underwater by 2050. Properties still sell, people still move there, and the water keeps rising. This is not a distant future scenario. Across Canada, towns are facing threats that would have seemed impossible a generation ago. Permafrost melting beneath foundations, coastlines eroding at rates that alarm geologists, wildfires producing air that is hazardous to breathe for weeks at a time. We ranked 7 towns where climate change is measurable, visible, and reshaping daily life, scored on severity and pace of the primary threat, impact on property values and insurability, damage to essential infrastructure, and whether a credible long-term future exists. The town at number 1 has the least certain future on this list. Number 7, Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories. Population around 900. Inuvialuit Community. The Inuvik-Tuktoyaktuk Highway opened in 2017, just as the land beneath the town began accelerating its disappearance. Satellite internet, speeds limited. Average house price, $180,000. Mortgages are increasingly difficult. Banks are reluctant to finance homes on ground that may be unstable within 20 years. Coastal erosion exceeds 2 meters per year in some areas. Homes have been relocated inland multiple times. Winter temperatures have risen 3 degrees Celsius since the 1970s, enough to thaw permafrost that stayed frozen for millennia. Why it ranks 7th. The threat is real, but the community still has decades rather than years to adapt. The towns above it are further along the same trajectory. Number 6, Shelburne, Nova Scotia. Population around 1,700. Founded by Loyalists in 1783. Eastlink fiber, broadband available. Average house price, $175,000. South Shore Regional Hospital 45 minutes away in Bridgewater. Sea level rise projections reach 1 meter by 2100. Hurricane Fiona in 2022 flooded at levels never previously recorded. The historic waterfront on Water Street is both the town's identity and its flood zone. Insurance premiums have doubled in 5 years. Coverage is becoming unavailable at any price. Why it ranks 6th. Hospital access, fiber internet, and enough time for adaptation investment exist. The cultural and economic cost of protecting the waterfront is the real challenge, not imminent loss. Number 5. Per se, Quebec population around 3,200. TELUS fiber, broadband available. Average house price, $210,000. Chandler Hospital, 70 kilometers away. The coastline is retreating at rates that alarm geologists. Per se rock itself is eroding faster than historical measurements predicted. Properties that had 15 meters of beach 20 years ago now have 4. Storm waves reach foundations regularly. Tourism depends on natural beauty that is measurably disappearing. Why it ranks 5th. Per se faces an economic contradiction. The landscape driving its economy is being destroyed by the same forces threatening the community. It is not just losing land, it is losing its reason to exist. Number 4. Churchill, Manitoba. Population around 900. Satellite internet, speeds limited. Average house price, $150,000. Air evacuation to Winnipeg for serious medical needs, 1,000 kilometers south. Sea ice forms later and melts earlier each year. Polar bears, the foundation of Churchill's tourism economy, depend on ice to hunt. Less ice means more bears near town, increasing conflict. Permafrost thaw is buckling roads and cracking water and sewer infrastructure. The rail line washed out in 2017 and took years to repair. Why it ranks 4th. Churchill faces compound threats simultaneously. Its economic base, physical infrastructure, and geographic connectivity are all deteriorating from the same cause. Number 3. Île-à-la-Crosse, Saskatchewan population around 1,300. Métis community with deep historical roots. ExploreNet satellite, speeds limited. Average house price, $120,000. Serious medical cases evacuated to North Battleford, 250 kilometers south. Wildfire seasons now extend from May through October. Smoke reaches hazardous air quality levels repeatedly each summer. Hospital admissions for respiratory conditions spike annually during fire season. The boreal forests are drying. The economic base, forestry and fishing, is threatened by the same conditions producing the smoke. Why it ranks third? The threat is less visible than coastal erosion, but the health impacts are immediate, annual, and worsening. Geographic isolation limits adaptation options significantly. Number 2. Pointe du Chien, New Brunswick. Primarily a cottage community near Shediac. Bell Alient Fiber, gigabit available. Average property price, $250,000. Waterfront lots exceed $350,000. Flood insurance is nearly impossible to obtain. Banks are increasingly reluctant to offer mortgages without it. Properties that flooded once per decade now flood multiple times per year. Seawalls slow erosion. They do not stop it. Every major storm tests defenses that are losing ground incrementally. Why it ranks second? Pointe du Chien represents the most direct property market failure on this list. When insurance disappears and mortgages become unavailable, the community loses its economic foundation before the water physically arrives. Number 1. Dawson City, Yukon population around 1,400. Northwestel fiber, broadband available. Average house price, $375,000. Whitehorse 500 kilometers south for specialist care. The permafrost beneath Dawson City is thawing at rates that have accelerated dramatically since 2000. Buildings are sinking, roads are buckling. Water and sewer infrastructure requires constant repair. The active layer deepens each year, destabilizing foundations built on the assumption of permanently frozen ground. Yukon River ice jam flooding is becoming less predictable as freeze and thaw timing shifts. Unlike coastal erosion, which removes land from the outside, permafrost thaw undermines communities from below, invisibly, continuously, and without a clear stopping point. Why it ranks first? The permafrost thaw is not a projection. It is currently undermining buildings, roads, and utilities in a town whose historic core cannot be relocated without ceasing to exist. The gold rush heritage that defines Dawson City was built on frozen ground. That ground is no longer reliably frozen. Conclusion. 7 towns, Tuktoyaktuk to Dawson City, each facing threats that are documented and accelerating, each at a different point on the same trajectory. Infrastructure built for one climate is operating in another. The costs of adaptation are rising faster than communities can absorb them. Properties still sell. The risks are real and the choices are personal. The water keeps rising. The permafrost keeps thawing. The smoke keeps coming. Your move